host of the Gridiron.
Just want to end here with this here. Now, so once again, if the Giants don't wind up taking, or if they can't just say take a quarterback or whatever, because the guys, they're all drafted, the two or three guys, maybe, like I said, Milroe, Ward, or Sanders, those are the top three guys. If they're first round picks on them, the Giants ain't reaching for a guy who's graded out in the second round or something like that, So, the Giants don't wind up taking a quarterback, for whatever the reason winds up being, right? In the first round, they said this one guy here, but according to Tankathon, this guy may not even make it to the Giants. The Giants are picking. They got him going to Cleveland at number 3 overall. But hey, you don't know. But I said I would love to team somebody up next to Sexy Dexy. That would be fantastic, absolutely fantastic. While Sexy's still in his prime, let's not get Sexy help when Sexy's in year number 37. And he's walking around with a cane, or he's in a wheelchair, and he's making one tackle a year. No, let's get the dude some help now. Right? Let's beef up that defensive front. Let's stop them run. Right. So I did see this. This is pretty cool. Michigan defensive tackle is from Giants Wire. He's named a best fit for the Giants, which I couldn't possibly agree more. I said the biggest thing, obviously, the Giants have to figure out, what are they doing at quarterback? If they're not going to be in position to grab one of those top quarterbacks, they're going to get back in the second round, hope and pray they get back in the second round, or are they going to get somebody in free agency or what? Who knows? But, it's obviously number one, obviously, is getting a quarterback. But I said if quarterbacks aren't ready, I would love to see them if they could possibly grab this guy. That would be really good. Said the Giants in the 2025 NFL draft, expectations that they'll lean on a quarterback and finally replace Daniel Jones. But not everyone is sold on the upcoming quarterback class, and some even believe the Giants would be better serving by selecting a different position of need. Because, sometimes it's almost like you're cutting off your nose to spite your face. It's like, we'll show you. We're taking a quarterback. You can't reach. You can't reach. If there's a quarterback who's got a second round grade or something, or date, we're taking a quarter. We'll show you. We're taking one. You can't do that. If you're picking in the top 10, you got to take somebody who, unless the quarterback is graded out maybe the 11th or 12th or 13th guy, something like that. If you're picking 9th, then okay. But if you're taking 9th, you can't take somebody who's graded out, pick 30, 32, 33 or whatever. You can't do that. If you're picking in the top 10, you need to take somebody who's graded out as a top 10 blue chipper, as they say. You got to do that. Right? I said that this guy would be really good. So, Brent, Sobleski, a Bleacher Report, is one of those people suggesting General Manager Joe Schoen should target defensive tackle Mason Graham. The idea of pairing Dexter Lawrence with Graham is downright frightening. Lawrence is already the game's best interior defender with the ability to completely take over games. The same applies to Graham at the collegiate level. Graham currently ranks as Bleacher Report's number 2 overall prospect. Wow, that's scary. He's a disruptive 3 technique, which is something the Giants got, because if they got Sexy right over the center, then the other guy next to him would be a 3 technique. Right? He has the strength and quickness to consistently reset the line of scrimmage. As a result, the Giants can dominate the line of scrimmage and build the entire squad's identity around their defensive front. Yep. Giants have been especially weak along the defensive interior when Lawrence is off the field. And that's another one of the things, because, if you got him on there for, say, 70% of the plays, there's 20 plays a game or whatever, 15, 20 or so that he's not on the field, that you got a relatively weak defensive front. You like to have two, if you could, two, if you got 2 studs, one goes off the field, you still have one on the field, right? And having like DJ Davidson or Jordan Riley or Nacho as your main guy, that's not overly impressive. Opposing offenses routinely attack inside until Dexy returns. And that weakness has been increasingly glaring over the past several weeks. Graham would match need with value, but can the Giants really afford to pass on a quarterback? Even if the overriding belief is that the 2026 quarterback class will be better than the 2025 class, there's no guarantee General Manager Joe Schoen and head coach Brian Daboll can hang on to their jobs that long, which is true. However, if the Giants were able to find a talented bridge quarterback in free agency, Sam Darnold perhaps, adding Graham to the defense and snagging a quarterback in the 2026 might be the best case scenario. Of course, there are precious few fans out there who are willing to be that patient at this point, but can you blame them? Now, so if you look, here we go. Let me pop this up here for you. Show you. Once again, this is college. I get it, but he's got some pretty decent. I got the 7. Oh, there we go. Whoa! All right, who's the first one at the top? He's got some pretty decent numbers here. Right now, right. Last year, right, with the undefeated Michigan Wolverines, right, with Harbaugh as the coach, graded out at a 90 overall. This year with Wink, right, his run defense is a 90.9, tackling 75, his pass rush is 79, coverage, who cares? But so far this year, right, he has 32 total pressures. Now, in about the same amount. I mean, he does not play. He's only got 442 snaps last year, 479 so far this year. But you can see 479, 297 pass rushing opportunities. He has 32. So basically, like 1 out of like every 9 pass rushes, he gets some type of a pressure. I get it. This is just college. I get it. But, you say, he has 5 sacks so far, but it's an interior defensive lineman. So he gets pressure. His run defense, like last year, was 87.8, and it got even better this year. He graded out his defense is not quite as good this year as it was last year. The defense is not as good this year. But look, he's a 90.9 his run defense this year. Run defense is very good. But and you look last year, it was, I guess, I don't know if he was, I guess just his second year. I guess he graded out at a 90. Really, really good. You look overall here. He's had some very, Fresno State, I guess, I don't know. I don't know if he was asleep or something. I don't know. He graded out at 58. But ever since then, he's had some really good games. Illinois, 86, 90.6 against Washington, 85.5. Really, really got some good grades. Now, once again, that's just college. I get it. But I said, everything always starts in the trenches. As I said, what that article said too is that a lot of times, you can't have Sexy out there for 100% of the snaps. If the other team has 70 snaps on offense, Sexy's out there for maybe 50. You got to give the guy a breather. And they know he's not on the field no more. It's like, okay, we're running. Run the ball inside, right? So the problem is that, when you have Sexy out there, you got Sexy and somebody else. Okay. But the problem is when Sexy leaves and you have DJ Davidson and Nacho out there, that's not very imposing on the other team. They're not, ooh, my goodness, that's not very scary. So that way, if you have those 2 guys out there, when one guy goes out and takes a breather, you still got one of the guys out there, right? Or for quite a bit of the game, 30, 40, 50, half the game, you're going to have both those guys out there at the same time. Can you imagine? You got Kayvon, right? You got Brian Burns, you got Sexy Dexy, and you got Graham out there. That would be a great front line. Great front line. Everything starts in the trench. If you can control the trenches, you're giving yourself a huge chance to win the game. Absolutely. It all starts in the trenches. And as I said, the thing is here is that let's get, Yeah, I mean, like we go back a couple of years ago, right? Or you go back when the Giants, one of the best. It wasn't like an unbelievably dominating run defense, but if you go back, right, when we first got Leo the Lion here, we had for that 1 year we had Leo the Lion, we had Dalvin Tomlinson, and we had Sexy Dexy in there. Those three guys, the run defense was pretty good. Then obviously Dalvin went. Then obviously Leo the Lion went. We never really replaced any of those guys. Sexy's still here, but we never really replaced those guys. So now we're trying to do it with pretty much Sexy, and it's just not well. And the other thing too is that this is 6th year, right? I mean, he's not going to be here for the he's not going to be Eli Manning, who's going to be here for 15, 16 years. It's not happening. I mean, maybe he'll play. Maybe if we're lucky, maybe he'll get another contract after this one, and he's probably not going to be able to play for 13, 14 years. I mean, his time is unfortunately, he's at the top of his game, right? But he's not going to. I don't think he's going to keep getting better. He's going to start tailing off, and he's going to start going down. And he's only got so many more years. Let's get the guy some help, okay? While Sexy's still at the top of his game, and let's get the guy some help when we can still afford it, right? Because if we got Sexy making, 22, 23, we're paying Burnsy like $29 million. Kayvon's making 7 or 8 or something, whatever that is, somewhere around there. He's going to want to get paid, right? So if we bring in a rookie, right, on a rookie deal, now if we got to pick the guy in the top 5 or 6 picks or whatever it is, he's going to want some money. But let's get the guy in here when he can still help out Sexy, right? And we can still afford him, right? Because you figure, we're paying Burnsy $29 million, paying Sexy Dexy like 22, 23, whatever it is. I mean, Kayvon's going to want 20, 25, somewhere around there. He's probably not going to make maybe Burnsy money, but he's going to want to get paid. I mean, that's going to be a very expensive defensive front. So we're either going to keep bringing in guys that, $3-4 million a year guys, which aren't the greatest help in the world. Let's be fair, right? Or if we can draft somebody and bring somebody in, right, who we're only paying maybe $6 or $7 million, that's it's the last chunk of change, but it's better paying somebody $6, $7, or $8 million a year than paying them like Sexy Dexy money, right? So, but as I said, it all starts in the trenches. Right. And I said, if we can get that one more guy next to Sexy Dexy while he's still in his prime, man, that would be huge. All right, guys, been 1 hour and 47 minutes. I'm not sure if that's a record for me or not, but that's damn close. Well, whoever spent any time listening to me live, thank you, thank you, thank you. Or if anybody spends any time watching the replay this, once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. As always, you guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo! Oh, yeah.